Hello, Sharks. My name is Bianca Winberg. I am from El Dorado Hills, California, and I am the co-founder of FireFighter1. Today, I am seeking $150,000 for 15% equity of my company. How many of you know somebody who's lost property due to fire, been evacuated, or had a fire scare themselves? Increasing temperatures and drought are limiting resources, and devastating wildfires are taking over many parts of our country. As a homeowner, you don't have many options. If there's a fire, you could evacuate and hope that the fire department has enough resources to help protect your property, or you could grab a garden hose and spray your roof and perimeter, hoping for the best. That's what my dad would see people doing while watching news coverage of the wildfires every single year. He knew there had to be a better way. So many of those homes, just like ours, had pools. It got him thinking, what about fast access to pool water? And FireFighter1 was born. FireFighter1 is the first affordable resource designed for pool owners to quickly access the average 25,000 gallons of pool water in seconds. If there ever is a fire, you grab your FireFighter1 hose from its stored location, connect our adapter to your pool pump, just like that, grab the nozzle, be ready, turn the pump on, aim, and in less than 30 seconds, spray valuable pool water a distance of 40 feet at a rate of 80 gallons per minute.
That's pretty cool.
This is a 35-foot roof line. In about 7 minutes, you could drench the entire property.
Wow.
So, Sharks, together, we could keep property safer from fire, and I could continue building the FireFighter1 legacy for my dad.
That's very cool.
What happens if you've been instructed to evacuate?
If you've been instructed to evacuate, you evacuate. But a lot of times a fire is a couple miles in the distance and embers fly over a mile, so the fires jump. You could wet the property well before you're evacuated. Or in other instances, you know, a backyard barbecue, something happens, and you want to put that out before a fire spreads.
Are you just selling?
All right, so this is a really cool idea. If you have a pool, it's an opportunity to do something before, because you call, fire department, depending on where you live, it could take a while for them to show up. My question is, so you're shooting the house. I guess in the fire, I'm about to say rainforest. The wildfires, right, situation. This makes a lot of sense, more so than trying to use a hose. And if everybody's trying to use a hose all at once, then you're probably not getting as much water pressure as you might necessarily get, especially if like everybody was out doing it all at once. So you're not going to get it to shoot quite as far or get as great a coverage. Using the pool water, cool idea, as long as you don't have a vinyl pool liner, because if you have a vinyl pool liner and you drain the pool too much, then you're running the risk of the pool liner coming away from the wall and all this stuff. And then even cement ones have problems with calcium if you don't have enough calcium. So like having that too drained, I would assume you would fill it back up as soon as you could. But these wildfires last quite a long time, so I don't know that that's necessarily the case, that you would get to do that. So I like the idea. I want to see how much it costs. I also am curious if they've come up against any insurance companies like being upset, especially if you had a fire and you tried to put it out with a lot of water, doing more damage to the house before the fire department ever got there. I'm not saying that it's right, but insurance companies like to find ways to not be as cool as, Flo from Progressive or the Geico Gecko or anything like that. So just something to think about.
The hose?
So I'm selling the hose with the adapter. You already have the pump.
That pump is a standard pump in every pool?
So this is standard. Our adapter is not standard. So what you do is you have your pool person install the three-way valve. It takes only about 15 minutes.
So it takes some proactive. You're going to have to get your pool guy or pool girl or whatever.
Yes.
But then you leave it that way.
And then you just
Like,
leave it.
it's
And
a
many
one-time
people
thing.
already have these installed with an open port just for an outspout. So when you have those, which ends up being about 25% of my customers, you just add our adapter onto that three-way valve and you're good to go.
What do you sell it for, and what does it cost you to make?
This 50-foot unit I sell for $499. It cost me about $124 to build it, and that's right now. I'm only building about 25 to 30 units at a time, so I could definitely increase my margins. The 100-foot sells for $399, and it cost me about $200 to make.
Educate me. So I was assuming when these fires come through that, I mean, it's just timber and a lot of things falling right onto the property. That is something that a drenched property would not solve that. But you're saying it's really the embers.
So that's a huge problem, is the flying embers, because the embers fly more than a mile. They hit another roof line. They hit some dry patches, trees. They hit a bunch of trash. Anything catches, and then it spreads
And these
again.
embers
So that's
are just
a
like,
huge
they're
problem.
large pieces of...
Yep, just pieces of debris that are kind of flying, and they'll pick up air, and then
The
they fly
windier,
to
the
a
worse
place.
it is. I'm curious, you talked about your father, that this is his invention.
Yes.
So I would love to hear about you, your background, and your father.
This was his idea. Like I said, we're in Southern California, and we, every single year, would have different fires occurring. And one day he looked at the pool, and he said, why don't we have access? Obviously, a lot of us have pools. So he started looking into it, and there are some big pumps where you could buy a separate engine and drop it into the pool, but they're expensive, and many people can't afford to spend thousands of dollars on something. So he came up with FireFighter1. We were kids. He passed a little bit over 5 years ago. So I started redeveloping it.
So can the firemen use your product in some way to help them to fight the fires by draining pools if they needed to?
Absolutely. So the goal in the long term is that fire departments would know where every single one of these is, and they could use it.
And I'm really surprised Kevin O'Leary didn't ask you this. Let's hear it. What are your sales?
We just launched this February 2022. My cash flow is $22,000 in sales.
And how many units is that?
I've sold 49 units, actually.
Okay.
Yeah, just under 50 units.
So you're just starting.
The sales are generally small, but that doesn't mean anything, right?
Well, it means they're small.
Well, look, there's a ton of pools out there. It does mean that they are small, but you know, just getting started. It is a cash outlay. $499, $399 is not nothing, especially when we talk about pools. I mean, I have a pool, and I'm kind of debating whether or not I would install something like this. I'm very close to my fire department. Like, it's not even a mile from my house, but it takes time for there aren't people living there, so it takes time for them to get there and get ready and go, right. So there was a fire just a couple years ago, 3-4 years ago, a couple houses down, and it's the middle of winter. I mean, I guess technically if it wasn't covered in snow, because I think there was some snow on the ground, and I knew that I could get, obviously I wouldn't have a hose long enough to reach there, but I don't know. It just makes me think that, if it was in their pool, or if it was something that you could quickly, like she was saying, like dump into a pool and get the water out rapidly without it being, crazy expensive. And we have a couple of pumps here, but they're not going to put out the kind of pressure that the 1.5 horsepower pump that I have on my pool is. It's tough because it is definitely is a commitment. If I lived in California, I probably would, and had a pool, I'd be like, yeah, I think this is a great idea. I'm going to do that and maybe potentially save my property, right? Save something. And, on the inverse of what I said earlier about the insurance, maybe the insurance companies should look at enabling more of this, especially if you're telling me that firefighter companies could know where they're installed. They're getting that data, so they have an idea of like where else can they get pool water from, especially in those wildfire situations. I don't know. I think, but at the end, like, don't they have like I'm sure they got to have a pump on the truck. I'm not a firefighter, so I know a few, but they just want to, like, you put one on the truck and then you just like dump the hose in there, in the pool and siphon out pools like as you go, not necessarily needing this. But as the home thing, I could see it.
Where did the sales come from?
I've been partnering with pool companies because they already have the relationship with pool owners.
And are you paying them a commission?
Exactly. So
How much do you
I
pay
pay them. So if they just sell the units themselves on a commission base, they get 20%. If I have a pool store who's buying inventory, it's 25 to 30% off wholesale, depending on how many units they buy.
I love the space of helping people stay safe. It means a lot to me. But I feel that this is not a place where I could add enormous value. So regretfully, I'm out, but I wish you the very best.
Look, Bianca, not every business is investable because you're so nascent, you're so early, you're so just figuring out how to sell it. It has merit, but my feeling is I could make hundreds of dollars.
You can make millions of dollars, and so could I, and so could a couple of sharks if they wanted.
That. So for that reason, I'm out.
I think you're on the right path to success by figuring it out small. I don't know anything about this. You see you educating me. I don't think I add value. I think a lot of people need this, but I wouldn't be able to help you, so I'm out.
Thank you.
Bianca, listen, in my opinion, I feel like this is the type of product that needs a lot of mouthpieces behind it.
And that's
and
why
promotion.
I need...
And I think this is one of these things that, Mark, if you're willing to go in with me, I think that we'll just help figure it out.
Let me ask a question.
Yeah,
Are you
absolutely.
Patient?
I'm very patient, and I'm very hardworking.
This is a patience business, right?
I know.
To Lori's point, some of the greatest changes, entrepreneurial changes, took time.
Absolutely.
Right? It's going to take time for people to understand this. It's going to take time for word to get out.
Right.
But the good thing about this business, there's a lot of great leverage points.
Yes.
Because all the pool servicers all throughout California, the minute there's a wildfire and someone's, home is threatened, all of a sudden they understand it.
Right. So, Mark, she's asking for $150,000 for 15%. So, I mean, we're going to have to do quite a bit of work to help you here.
It'll be a slow burn, literally.
You're going to need a lot of us. So
I understand that.
So $150,000 for 25%.
For 25% for both of you. For both of you.
Don't let that hose get away.
Don't let that hose get away. Would you guys do it for 20% for both of you? No.
No.
Good idea.
I can tell by your faces. You have a deal.
Oh,
you have a deal. Yes. No, you have a deal. I need to do it.
Awesome. We're going to
For
check out Bianca.
We need to
Oh my
help this
gosh,
world.
I'm so excited. Thank you. Oh, thank you. Thank you, guys.
Congratulations.
Bye, guys. Oh, I need to start working, to start getting Firefighter1 to people, and to start showing my dad that he did not disappoint. He didn't let us down. And we're going to help people. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. So that is awesome to see Bianca get a deal with Mark and Lori there. Let's check out her website. So save 10% off your first order when joining if you give up your email address. And let's see. So you get the hose, and I assume you get the whole, you're getting the whole kit. So you have a Shark Tank special for $85, which is a 3-port 2 and 2.5 inch, or 2 to 2.5 inch positive seal. Get the whole thing for $450 right now at the high end, or $499 for 100 feet. What's the difference here? Oh, there's an extra 50-foot extension. So if you need extra hose to get that reach in there, it is some money, but again, I feel like this is something that, once especially insurance companies get educated, could really turn the tide in helping home insurance costs go down, especially in California, or even Oregon, or where there's lots and lots of wildfires. So right now, 61 people liking it over on Facebook. We got, what is this, on Yelp? It's okay. I'm not sure quite why it's on Yelp, but it's over 24 hours a day. It's awesome. You got 134 followers over on Instagram. Very cool. Yeah, I feel like the pool industry is you got to really hone into those companies, like go door to door and get them signed up like this, right? This is what you want to see. Them setting up. Now with that said, that is a lot of floor space in any pool company's building to commit to it. But I think that if you put it up there, I think you're probably going to get more sales. Maybe I feel like there's maybe a slightly better way of demonstrating this. Like the red on the blue is a little hard to read with the logo. So I feel like that could use some work, but this is from 21 weeks ago. So hey, at least you got the floor space, right? That's the important part. And then they got a Facebook showing all how it works and everything with 17 subscribers. Bianca, I'd love to have you come on the channel and give an interview and talk about your Shark Tank experience, your business experience, and how everything's going. Just drop a comment down below. Like Abel Rico here said, love the videos. I hope I said your name right. Hope I said your name right. As always, I appreciate you watching till the end and being a part of the super community. It's an absolute honor to get to learn and to teach at the same time. Always be wearing the black and the white belt at the same time. Anyway, I'll see you in one of these two videos over here. Take care and go be super.